I think there's just maybe one or two religions that don't talk about you as an individual being eternal. Whether you're going to heaven, you're going there forever. If you're going to hell, you're stuck there forever. If you're on the wheel of karma, you're on that wheel forever. When you reach nirvana, you're there forever. I mean, the bottom line is, you're stuck with you forever. We're stuck with you for all of eternity. So if you believe that, then what type of legacy? When we were at Singularity and Source, we thought, is there more than just oneness? Is there anything else but oneness? And the moment you ask that question, impossibility, you become something other than oneness. Now you're not one, you're aware that you're separate from one. And this is how we fell down into density. But our journey then is to prove to ourselves that there is more to reality. So I have had wonderful moments where I've moved from this realm called space-time, three-dimensional reality, into this realm called time-space, where I've experienced another aspect of myself that is not this person, this identity. But I understood who I was, and it kind of changes my view about that we're not linear beings, isolated in linear time. We're dimensional beings living a dimensional life. And I think that's one of the biggest lies that we've been served, that we are individuals that experience this one moment in time because we don't remember. Going from the philosophical understanding that you're eternal and that there's some savior that's going to save you, we have to change our view about death, because I'm not even sure that what people have been told about death is the truth. I mean, again, when you move to this realm where you experience other dimensions, you realize that there are many houses, many dimensions that you can travel through time and experience. And for me, wow, I have one of those moments where I realize that I'm not Joe Dispenza in linear time. The next probable question is, who am I? And asking that question takes you out of the philosophical realm, out of the realm of, oh, I'm eternal, and just espousing that. But making the attempt to really experience the truth of that. So you have a little bit of that, and you overcome the fear that you have to die and go to this light and get your information or review your life. Okay, that's important. The soul needs to see how far it's come and what its limitations are from a greater level of consciousness. That's an option. Another option, you could surrender to a deity, some consciousness of some being, and you're locked into that consciousness, into that world. It's not yours, it's somebody else's. Or you can go to that realm where you dissociate from everything, that vacuum, void of anything material, and ask that same question, who am I? And the experiences that I've had, and some of the people that have had those experiences, are all of a sudden transcendent of linear time, and the whole game changes. So, and there are latent systems in the brain that we've isolated that, when activated, turns on your access to frequency and information that gives you a little bit more of the belief that you're eternal. And so some people have a fear of death because they think it's the end, because that's how they've been programmed. And some people have a fear of suffering because suffering means death, and they don't know how to get out of their suffering state. So when they hear information, their brain naturally goes to the worst outcome, and they begin to experience the emotion of that future before it occurs. And they're basically programming themselves for death by doing that. So again, I mean, we never have this conversation when the environment is doing well and, there's prosperity and financial growth, and this never would come up until people actually realize, okay, take away your cell phone, take away your computer, take away your car, take away your stove, your refrigerator, your washing machine, take away your couch, take away all the things that have been created by some other inventor, by somebody else. How resourceful are you? I mean, what do you got? I mean, what can you do? And now, all of a sudden, maybe it has to get so intense that we have to start believing in these principles more than ever. And if that's all we get out of this and everything returns back to normal by the fall, I would say then we would look each other in the eye with a little bit more compassion. We would be less likely to judge another person. We wouldn't see their skin color. We would see the divine in them. We would make an effort to forgive. We would make an effort to connect every day. We'd make an effort to ask ourselves, who do I want to emerge as this eternal being? Whose life can I change? Whose mind could I help change? Whose heart could I open? How could I give? How could I make a difference? And you got enough people doing that, you're less reliant on a government. You're less reliant on a doctor. You're less reliant on a teacher. You're less reliant on anybody. And now something else begins to happen. So eternity and death is just another programmed belief that we have to work on changing. That's based on an interpretation of mostly men in religion trying to come up with an understanding of it. And wow, times have changed in the last 2,000 or 5,000 years. We're having conversations that we would never have before. And information is one element. You don't need any authority to gain information. You have technology. You just got to discern what information you want to fill your brain with. By the same means, what a crazy time with solar flares and all this energy and the end of these different cycles, and there's a change in frequency, and that frequency is disturbing everybody's nervous system. It's a cataclysmic time of awakening, and you can't go back to business as usual. You can't go back to the things will never be the same. This is what we asked for. So you got frequency that's causing disturbance in people's nervous system. They don't sleep as well. They're agitated. They feel something. You have information coming in, and that means then the veil between worlds, between this three-dimensional world and who we really are, is starting to thin, because information now is causing people to see through that veil, see through that illusion. And wow, I mean, it's just not how we expected it to be. You know, it's not an alien ship, or it's not a whatever people believe. This is the here and the now. This is what we got. And so, wake people up to the environment, and, wake people up to what's important. You got to stop everything. And when you do, people all of a sudden are stepping out of their routine, predictable lives. They're in the unknown. And God, we have worked for over 15 years as a community in teaching people how to dissociate from the known and create from the unknown. And wow, what a great opportunity for us to execute and show people what it looks like, so other people can believe in that 4-minute mile. Other people can believe that if someone else can do it, I can do it. And just like an infection spreads amongst a community and creates illness or disease, what if, from a greater level of consciousness, that health, wellness, abundance, freedom is as infectious as disease? What if that's the truth? I don't know any other alternative, except that I believe in human beings and I believe in human potential, and I've experienced too much. I've listened to too many stories of people who have been healed, and their subjective experience, while captured on a brain scan, said that it was in a very objective measurement that was quantitative, that showed that person was having something happening between their ears. And when they come back to their senses, they're transformed. There's a change in form, neurologically, genetically, chemically, hormonally. They're off that line of time that was routine. Their body was dragging them into the same future based on what they did in the past. This is a moment where they step off that timeline. Some inner event changes how they see the spectrum of reality a little differently, and they feel more connected. And so many people come to our work because they want to get healed, or they want to be rich, or they want to have a new relationship. But I think people come really for a lot of reasons. But when they start having these moments, they come for wholeness. And it's not what they get, it's who they become. And we have to overcome enough beliefs, limited beliefs about ourselves, about who we are, even as a species, and to start throwing in with a little bit more of who we are from an unlimited standpoint. And all the things that create separation, whether it's skin color, socioeconomic status, religion, whatever it is, cultures, all of that is to fool people into the illusion of separation. And if you want to control people, just control their emotions. That's an easy way to do it. And when you're no longer reacting and responding to your environment, and you're less vulnerable and victimized by it, you're going to see through the illusion of it and start realizing maybe there's something else there's another way of being. And that's a change in consciousness, and great time in history to be alive, I think.